Hello, welcome to my review for Mom and Dad. Yeah. We've hit our first stinker of 2018. It's available on demand. Skip it. This is a tough one for me. Well, it's not tough, but it's just I feel like this had a lot of promise. I feel like this had a fair amount of potential. It's a horror comedy, kind of, about an outbreak, basically, like an epidemic, pandemic, whatever. I don't think it really matters with this film, where parents suddenly start murdering their children. And the idea that they present in the film over kind of news broadcasts, you know, like the stations covering this huge thing that's happening, I guess around the world, or at least in America, where parents are turning against their kids, and they say that it's this instinct that parents have to protect their children. You know, when it's a life and death situation, and parents will have this kind of superhuman strength, like they will do anything to protect their children in moments of peril. You know, but it's that, but reversed. You know, where they'll stop at nothing to kill their kids, basically. And it's kind of a funny idea. It's a harrowing idea at the same time. It's horrific, but I feel like it could have worked, and it could have worked with the comedy as well. And it stars Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair as the parents of a teenage daughter and a younger son, and so we follow the daughter and the son primarily as this stuff is happening, and all these kids are getting killed. And I thought what was going to happen, and I guess this is venturing into spoiler territory, so if you're really precious about this film, you know, I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything, but you know, I'm just going to spoil a little bit here. I thought what was going to happen was that the main parents of the film, Mom and Dad, you know, Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair, were going to be the two parents who weren't affected by this thing. Because up to a point, halfway through the film, the daughter gets home when she knows that all these parents are turning on their kids. So she gets her brother to protect him. You know, our Mom and Dad might try and kill us. And they come home. And so the daughter and her brother, they go down into the basement and they barricade themselves in because they don't want to get killed by their parents. And so you have Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair at the basement door, banging on, like, come on, let us in. And then they get a saw and they're sawing through the door, and the kid's like, ah! And I was pissing myself laughing because I thought, they're just trying to get to the kids because they're locked into the basement. You know, they're not trying to kill them, and that's kind of the twist, is that these two parents actually haven't been affected. But then I slowly realized, oh, wait, they are trying to kill their kids, because they then start trying to feed gas in to kind of just suffocate them. And I'm thinking, oh, so, you know, we've kind of been following this mother throughout the film who's kind of struggling with the fact that she's not connecting with her daughter anymore and stuff. And, you know, we kind of delve into Selma Blair's character a little bit in the first half of the film. It was quite effective, I thought, and her acting was very good. Always liked Selma Blair in most of the things I've seen her in, but yeah, no, she's definitely, you know, been affected too. And it just didn't feel like there was a switch. Like there was a moment where she was like, oh, now I'm going to kill my kids. It just naturally happened. And Nicolas Cage, you know, and again they built it up because we get a little bit of a backstory on Nicolas Cage's character, who wasn't really in the first half of the film. Really, he has a couple of scenes, but we get this flashback where he's building this pool table in the basement, and his wife comes down, they get into an argument. Fantastic Nicolas Cage scene where he smashes up the pool table while singing the Hokey Pokey, you know. and that's what I mainly watched from this film, which was crazy Nick Cage. And it gave me that at the very least, you know. It's not a complete write-off in that sense. Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage, and you get Nicolas Cage. Don't worry about that. But you get the idea that this guy has gone through a complete midlife crisis. You know, he just imagined his life at this point in, you know, in his middle age to be so much different, you know. And both of them, even, you know, this married couple, they aren't where they saw themselves when they were younger. So you get this idea that he's going a bit mad. So he comes into the house and he gets crazy and stuff, and, you know, is mad that his daughter is seeing, you know, the boyfriend that she is. So at first you think, oh, it's because he's going through this kind of crazy midlife crisis. But then it's just like, nope, he's just been affected like everyone else, and all that build up to the characters meant nothing. And now they just want to kill their kids, and that's it. And then straight to the end of the film, they're just trying to murder them, and then it ends, you know, the way it ends. I didn't like the ending very much, even though that I kind of just felt like it wasted the concept. Even just the ending of the film, the last scene was just like, you know, I saw what you're going for, it didn't quite work for me. I loved seeing Lance Henriksen pop up, you know, Bishop, at the end, you know, for a kind of a fun cameo. But the thing for me is, you could have gone somewhere with this. I thought it was interesting, but ultimately it just wasted it. And, you know, right towards the end, there's a bit where the daughter is kind of holding her mother in a cupboard because her mother's trying to kill her. And she's holding her in the cupboard, and then she just starts laughing, you know, and her boyfriend's just like, oh, it's a good thing my parents are divorced, right? Half a chance there, yeah. Yeah. And they're laughing, and it's just like, what? I know it's a horror comedy, but it just, that wasn't funny, and it just, I couldn't buy into the situation. So by the end of the film, I didn't care. If the daughter and her brother got murdered, it wouldn't have meant anything, because the tone had completely just dilapidated into nothing by that point. If they had killed their parents, I wouldn't have cared, because they completely just, there was no character left. It was just this outbreak stuff, which again, I understand the idea is that the parents have completely zoned into just this instinct that they have to kill their kids, and so they're not themselves, but that just, it disconnects me from the characters, and so I just didn't care, and so ultimately by the end it was like, And also there was a scene in the film that really disturbed me where the mother, Selma Blair, and I don't remember any of the characters' names, I only watched it a couple of days ago. The mother goes to the hospital because her sister's giving birth. Her sister gives birth to this baby. Oh, do you want to hold the baby? Yeah, okay, she holds the baby. And then she starts holding on too tight. And then she starts trying to kill it. And it is absolutely horrific. It was too much for me. I just thought it was so uncomfortable. And I would have allowed it, not that it matters whether I allow anything, but I would have said, okay, fair enough for doing that, if they'd taken the film in a more serious tone, or at least kind of made the characters mean more towards the end, and have some kind of actual emotional payoff, which there wasn't, you know. Also, towards the end, we get these flashbacks that are really just not timed well. Like, there's one where Nicolas Cage is sitting with his son who's kind of messed up his car, and he's just like, well, if you mess up that car again, I'll fucking kill you. You know, and he's got this grin on his face. And that would have worked great at the beginning of the film to kind of hint towards this stuff, but they kind of throw it in during the action at the end, so it's kind of like, oh, you know, and then we slow down. It's a very weird pace in that sense. But the baby scene was just so horrific. They also had a shot of these expectant fathers outside the room where all the babies are held in those kind of cots, and they're just kind of looking at them, implying that they want to kill them. That would have been enough, I think, to sell the idea that this is happening widespread, but I don't know, I feel like you need to earn that baby scene more. If your film has just no kind of sense of weight whatsoever by the end of it, you probably shouldn't do a scene like that. I don't know, that's just my opinion. So, Mom and Dad for me, just not a fan of it at all. Well, you know, it wasn't a complete waste of time. We had crazy Nick Cage, that was something at least, but for me, not that great.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.